Hello and welcome, Credential candidates. If you are a first or second year teacher looking to clear your credential, then you are in the right spot. This presentation is a Credential candidate orientation for the California Agricultural Teachers Induction Program. This will be a recap of the workshop that was given at the CATA Summer Conference this past June. Before we get started, if you'd like a copy of this presentation full of all the links, feel free to use the QR code that's up on the screen. My name is Judy Ashwanden, and I am one of 6 regional facilitators, and I'll be serving the North Coast region. By the end of today's presentation, we hope that we'll be able to accomplish 6 goals. Number 1, we hope that you'll have a better understanding of the importance of an induction program. Number 2, understand the 6 CSTPs. Number 3, learn about the benefits of participating in the Ag Teachers Induction Program. To identify the requirements, to determine how to enroll in this program, and last but definitely not least, hopefully you'll have a chance to complete the Credential candidate application. Before moving on, we'd like to again welcome you into the profession and congratulate you on finishing your Credential program. You now have your preliminary credential. We're not done here. As you probably know, you now need to go into the next steps of clearing your credential. And we are excited that you've taken an interest in the California Agricultural Teachers Induction Program, also known as CATIP, and we hope that you'll be able to participate. In order to clear a credential, it states that every credential candidate must participate in a commission-approved induction program. Now, prior to a few years ago, we had BITSA, and I'm sure you were familiar with that, and it stood for Beginning Teacher Support and Assessment. And these programs are typically done by a district, and you participated in meetings and had assignments. Now, a couple years ago, California took a different spin on BITSA and changed the formal name to Teacher Induction Programs. And this focused on mentorship and the plan for credential candidates to set goals and focus on one of the 6 CSTPs. Now, once you finish your induction program, they will issue you a professional clear credential, and that means that you've successfully completed and demonstrated competence in the classroom. Induction programs in California are run by the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. Below, there is a document that states what you can expect from an induction program. What would be great is if you could go ahead and click on this link, which will direct you to a 6-page article on some of the guidelines. Please take a couple minutes and glance through them, primarily focusing on the bulleted sections, to get a better understanding of what is expected from the CTC. Now that you've glanced through the requirements for an induction program and clearing your credential, a couple things probably stood out to you. Each program is basically 2 years long, and that's no exception with the Ag Teacher K-TIP program. And the focus is going to be on mentorship. And so with the help of a mentor, you will design and implement something called an ILP, which stands for Individualized Learning Plan. And the goal of this program is to work with your mentor and get guidance in strengthening 1 or 2 of your CSTPs. Now, if you were to read this, you probably had questions about how do you select a mentor, how are you paired up, maybe what some of the assignments are going to be. And it's our hope that either through this presentation or talking with your qualified and trained mentor, that this program will be extremely beneficial to you and your students. So with all the options in clearing your credential and participating in induction programs, you may be wondering why choose CATIP? And the simple answer is that the goal of this program is to provide real, relationship-driven, and relevant teaching practices and meaningful mentorship. And through this program, we hope to integrate the responsibilities of an ag teacher and meeting the needs in participating in an induction program. So we took what ag teachers would already be doing and made it so that those experiences would count towards clearing your credential. Next, we're going to go through a little bit of history about the CATIP program, as well as our model that was created this past year. And it's our hope that you'll have an understanding and an appreciation for this program. Back when Vision 2030 first came about, we surveyed all of the ag teachers in the state at CATA Summer Conference and asked them what things could be improved on in the profession to meet the needs of all of our teachers. And one of the focus groups was on finding an alternative to BITSA. Now, at the time when this question came about, we really didn't think that coming up with a program was going to be possible. But because of timing and the help of Sutter County Office of Education, we proposed this program. And we were met with open arms and had some encouragement in getting this done. And what we found out was that we were going to be able to take what ag teachers were doing through regional meetings and sectional meetings and summer conference and use those towards, again, clearing your credential. Last year, this committee came up with this program model. And if you go ahead and take a look at it, you might notice that at the very center, you see 3 circles. And if you thought that those looked like the 3 circles of ag education, you're absolutely right. And that serves as the anchor for this CATIP program. And what that represents is that in an induction program, we hope that you focus on all 3 circles, not just your teaching practices inside the classroom, but also in your FFA chapters and students and leadership development, as well as projects and SAEs. So when we're talking about evidence or CSTP development, you can focus on all 3, not just what's in the classroom, which might be a little bit different than your typical induction program. Now, if you focus outwards, you'll see 6 numbers. And what those 6 numbers represent are the CSTPs. And those CSTPs are things that you're probably pretty familiar with from your credential program. And those are the California standards for the teaching profession. And through this program, we wanted to make sure that we implemented that in our model. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all parts that you'll be focusing on in your first 2 years of an induction program. Now, if you again continue outwards, you're going to see 3 arrows that are moving in a circular motion. And those 3 arrows represent planning, doing, and reflecting. And these are not unique to the California Ag Teachers Induction Program, but to all induction programs. And if you look at the plan, what you'll notice is that you guys will be creating an induction transition plan, which is something you've done in your credential program, the individualized learning plan, which is something that you and your mentor will develop, and of course, some reflection on the practices that you've had. The second part down at the bottom is going to be the doing portion. And so there are assignments just like in a regular induction program, and those are going to include 2 inquiry projects, one in year 1 and one in year 2, some observations with your mentor, and of course participation in CATA and FFA activities. Now the last little arrow is reflection, and this is something again that should be going on in your teaching overall, and these are going to be in the form of conversations with your mentors weekly, collaboration with your mentor as well as other teachers in the profession or on campus, and then of course there's going to be some documentation. So overall, this is pretty encompassing of a California induction program as well as what our model is all about specifically. Now that you have a basic understanding of what this program is about, we're going to go ahead and start talking about some of the assignments and some of the things that you're going to need to do to clear your credential. Essentially, once you've filled out your credential candidate application and your district is on board and completes a memo of understanding, we'll talk about that in a little bit, you'll be matched with a mentor. Now, all the mentors in this program have gone through training either at summer conference or online, and they will know how to guide you through this process. You'll be paired with a mentor within 30 days of receiving an MOU, and it's going to be a huge component of this program to communicate with them on a weekly basis, and you will be documenting that. Now, on this link, you'll see our current mentor list, but it is constantly evolving. And it's our goal to match you with someone that you will work well with, that you'll feel comfortable with communicating, again, on a weekly basis. And typically, it's going to be either someone on campus that is an ag teacher or in your section so that they are available to you when needed. Once you're paired with a mentor and you begin communicating with them, you will sit down with them and you'll complete your individual learning plan. You'll do this in year 1 and you will do this in year 2. And again, we'll talk about what that document looks like. But ultimately, it's going to be the foundation for your induction program. Now, it can be revised and you'll be reflecting on it as the year goes on, but it's our hope that we will be able to use this as again, kind of guidelines for your first 2 years of teaching. Once you guys have started to complete your assignments, you and your mentor will document your progress on Moodle. And that is going to be the site where you'll find your assignments and you'll upload them. They'll also be graded and scored, and will provide feedback to you in making sure that you're meeting the requirements to clear your credential. And again, at any time you have questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to your mentor or your region facilitator. Next, we're going to go ahead and go through some of the resources that are available to you, and we're going to talk about some of the assignments in detail when you start this program. So to start things off, the CATA website at calaagteachers.org, there is going to be an induction program link. It's under resources. And at that website, there are going to be tabs for credential candidates, mentors, and school districts. Under each of those tabs, you will find things like your credential candidate application, memo of understandings. There are promotional materials on those websites, and there are really great resources if you have any questions at any point, or if your school district or mentor do as well. On those links, you will see the CATA handbook. Now, this handbook is going to be full of all the information you're going to need in participating in this program. Now, note that some of these may be revised before September 1st when this new year goes live, but go ahead and take a look at it to kind of see what this program is going to entail. When we look at your documentation or the reflections or your assignments, we are going to be compiling or completing 3 progress checks. And we aligned these kind of in seasons for the fall, spring, and summer. And at these events in fall, it's your fall regional meeting. At the springtime, it's going to be your spring regional meeting. And during the summer, it's going to be at CATA Summer Conference. You and your regional facilitators, along with the other credential candidates and mentors, will be participating in a meeting. And so those meetings will be answering questions, or reviewing expectations, and providing workshops to better guide or serve you in your first year teaching. And so when we talk about progress checks, again, they're going to happen in the fall, in the spring, and in the summer. 2 of the assignments that we're going to talk about next are your bridging documents and your ILP. And those, again, one are going to be done in year 1. That's your bridging document. It comes with you from student teaching. And your ILP will be done both year 1 and year 2. And we'll look at those in detail here in a couple minutes. Another documentation that we're going to be looking at are going to be your weekly communication logs. And those will be due once a month on the 1st. And those are going to show that you and your mentor are discussing current issues, teaching strategies, department work, FFA activities, kind of wherever you need or have questions about between you and your mentor. And so we'll take a look at those. But again, there's a link of what one might look like. Last but not least, each year you're going to be completing an inquiry-based project. And we tried to make these projects items that will be beneficial to you in your department. For year 1, it's going to be a chapter Constitution and Bylaws, and for year 2, it's going to be your chapter program of activities. Now, we're fully aware that your chapter may already have one, but it's our hope that you revise them or look at them and identify how these will help you as a teacher or an FFA advisor, and to look at how these two projects would help you strengthen some of your CSTPs. Now, something to keep in mind is that you also will be able to earn 3 units of graduate level credit at a reduced rate when you pass each progress check. And your regional facilitator will have more information about that for you at each of the progress checks. You can also find the information online for Bradman University. So be sure to check that out and keep that in mind as well, is that as you meet these requirements, you will be earning units that will help you hopefully advance on the pay scale. Once you've completed your memo of understanding with your district and the Sutter County Office of Education, you will be responsible for completing or turning in your bridging document. Now, this document is one that you probably completed at the end of your credential program. Some folks call it a transition plan, some folks call it a bridging document, and it is something that you and your university and your supervisor, along with your cooperating or master teacher, filled out upon exiting your credential program. Now, on this bridging document, this is where you identified your strengths according to the CSTPs 1 through 6, and you identified some areas for growth. And this is what you're going to use in developing your individual learning plan or individualized learning plan. And you'll take your areas of growth and you will create a goal in which you will work on completing or achieving through your year 1 and year 2. Once you've been assigned a mentor, towards the bottom you'll see an induction support plan. And this is where you will sit down and kind of talk about your areas of growth and come up with a plan or description of what you might do in order to strengthen your area of growth and hopefully move it into a category in which you feel comfortable with. Now, through your induction program, if you start off with one area of growth or your CSTP and you complete that, you can go ahead and go back and reflect and add an additional one or develop kind of a new set of SMART goals. So again, form should already be done if you've completed your credential program. If you completed it a couple years ago and you aren't sure where it is, it's always best to go back to your university, and they do keep these on file. So that's been a question where maybe you completed your credential program 1 or 2 or 3 years ago and you may not have it anymore, but your university should have it on file somewhere. So this bridging document or transition plan, we call it an ITP, is going to be something that should already be done. It's just a matter of locating it and uploading it. The next assignment that we're going to go ahead and talk about is the individualized learning plan. And this is kind of the meat and potatoes of this induction program. And this is going to be where you use your student teaching experience along with the information that you got from your bridging document and knowledge from your current assignment. And you're going to sit and have a conversation with your mentor about 2 possible goals that you are going to work on. Now, we're going to go through the 4 pages of this ILP and talk about some details that we're going to be looking for as evaluators in ensuring that you are having a positive and successful experience. Now, like was mentioned, we are going to go using your bridging document and your areas of strength and areas of growth in developing some goals. So the first page of this ILP is going to be where, again, your information is noted along with your mentor. And you're going to go through a series of questions. Now, when we developed these questions, it was kind of our goal to, again, serve you as an ag educator. And so when we're looking at whether or not these are complete, we're looking for detail, we're looking for information that's going to give us an idea of what your program is all about. So for the first question, we are asking you to paint a picture of your agriculture program. And when we're looking at information, we're looking for your coursework, we're looking for your demographic of your community? What are your specialties? And we got this question from the CATA Outstanding Program application. And so again, it's our hope that maybe if you've done that application, you can use that information in developing a good answer. Or on the flip side, if you do a really nice job with this question, then if you ever apply for one of those awards, you can go ahead and take it and maybe even copy and paste it into that application. So again, the more detail, the better. As an evaluator, we're looking for, again, what your program is about, courses that you teach, information about your community, etc. The second part of this ILP is going to be where you are going to be identifying 2 goals. Now, on this particular form, it says 1, but on the updated one, it's going to go ahead and give you an area for you to set a goal in the classroom, and then a goal to set with your FFA chapter or in the area of SAE. Now, again, when we're looking at goals as an evaluator, we are looking for what we call SMART goals. And I know that we do a pretty good job teaching our students about what a SMART goal is. And so we're hoping that we can use the information that we have and create a goal that is measurable, it's specific, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's time-stamped. And our next slide, again, is going to kind of go into those in a little more detail. And then we're going to go ahead and ask why you chose the school. How is it going to benefit you as an educator? How is it going to benefit your program? How is it going to make, the upcoming years in this profession go a little bit more smoothly for you? So again, through your ILP, we are looking for information about your program. We are looking for 2 goals that meet the SMART specifications, and then a reason behind why you would choose the school. How is it going to be a benefit to you and your students? In case you haven't seen what SMART goals are, again, the S stands for specific, and so we're going to be looking for language in your CSTP, which we're going to show you a chart of here in a second, in what you are going to try or how is it going to benefit you. So for your CSTP, it's going to be one of those areas of growth. And we want it to be measurable, and so we want to be able to, at the end of your year 1, identify did you meet it or not. Now, we see a lot of goals that are something along the lines of, my goal is to be an efficient and effective teacher. Although that's a fantastic goal to have, it's something that's very hard to measure. And so these don't have to be huge goals. They could be, small and again, something that's going to be attainable. If it's about lesson plans or doing a lab once a week, or organizing a curriculum binder, coming up with a pacing guide, contracts for your livestock projects, whatnot. So again, something that is going to be attainable, which is what the A is for. So is it something that's going to be doable in 1 year? We don't want it to be, in the span of your career. We want it to be results oriented. And so again, it's going to be beneficial for you and your students. And so again, if we're looking at officer contracts, or you're looking at organizing curriculum, or developing syllabi, grading standards, things like that, something that's going to be a benefit to you in the future, as well as your students. And then, of course, we want it to be timely. And so we want it to be over the course of this year, so between now and next summer conference. Again, this isn't something we just hope that you do in your induction program. It's probably going to be something that you guys do on a yearly basis throughout your career. So again, make sure that they're specific, measurable, attainable, results-oriented, and timely. And again, if you have questions, feel free to ask your mentor in making sure that your goals meet these requirements. Next page of your ILP is going to be where you're going to identify what CSTP your goal correlates to. And so again, CSTPs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, we're going to show you a chart. Which one are you going to be focusing on? We want you to identify what the benefit to your students will be once you achieve this goal. We also want you to identify what support is going to be needed, and this is going to help your mentor, again, help you find those resources or provide guidance in meeting your goal. We also hope that when you create this ILP, you'll share it with your administrator and they'll offer some suggestions and guidance in helping you achieve this goal as well. And it's always good to keep them in the know for kind of seeing what you're doing in your program and, allow them to offer any suggestions that they may have. It's also a great opportunity. We're going to talk about your administrator meeting to promote your program and to develop an open line of communication. And so again, between you, your mentor, and your administrator, hopefully you'll have some support in meeting these goals. The next page is going to be where you'll make modifications. And so between your fall and winter year or in your first semester, it's our hope that you'll revisit this ILP and identify, okay, did you already meet this goal? It's time to come up with a new one, or kind of take, inventory or look at where you are in meeting your goal and maybe reaching out to your mentor, administrator, or another teaching partner or advisor to help you make sure that this goal is going to be feasible. So at the middle of the year and at the end of the year, you're going to reflect on your plan. You're going to identify any growth that you've made, and you're going to go ahead and revisit to kind of see where you're at, with your goals and with your teaching strategies or program development. And so when you talk about seeing growth, you're going to identify that. And if you didn't see growth, this is going to be an opportunity for you to identify maybe why this was happening and kind of reevaluate where you are in this program. On the last page, it's going to go ahead and identify the 6 CSTPs, and they summarize them. So in CSTP number 1, you're engaging and supporting all students in learning. In CSTP number 2, you're looking at environments of student learning. In number 3, you're going to go ahead and focus on organizing subject matter. Number 4, you're going to talk about designing an instruction programs for your students. In number 5, it's all about assessment, and then number 6 is going to be professional development. Now, in each of these 6, you may be looking at them in more detail. You have a chart, and you can go ahead and identify specifics for those, but these are just general categories. Part of this program is going to be where your mentor is going to observe you twice. And they're going to be looking at all 6 CSTPs, not just the ones that you find you need to grow in. And they're going to be looking at where you fall on this chart, whether it's going to be emerging or exploring or applying or integrating or innovating, which is going to be your levels 1 through 5. And if you start off with your levels 1s and 2s, that's great. That's fine. That means you have areas for growth. Through this program, a lot of the times, just like in proficiency awards, we're going to be looking at where you've grown. And so if you start all at level 5s, it's going to be really hard to identify, growth, and that's what we're going to be looking for. So if you're starting in level 1s and 2s, that's fine. We're hoping that by the end of year 2, you're going to be kind of navigating or growing towards level 3, 4s, or 5s. And so when you are developing your ILP, take a look at where you think you are, whether you're level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and use it as a foundation for developing your goals. So again, when we look at these ILPs, we're looking for detail. We're looking for how you are reflecting on how this is going to affect your students or help them out, and then also kind of doing a self-evaluation as to where you think you fall in these CSTPs and at what level. And again, coming up with a plan to grow or to move from one level to another. Again, your site administrator along with your mentor will also sign off on this. And so hopefully they'll be aware of what your plans are and provide some guidance in that as well. Now that we've talked about 2 of the first set of assignments, we're going to go ahead and quickly go over Moodle, which is going to be the learning management system that CATIP is going to be using. And we are going to have something new this year. We'll have the credential candidates will have access to this as well as the mentors. And if you click on the link, you'll go ahead and see some login information. And once we have your completed MOU, you'll go ahead and get some information to create an account. Now, on this website are where all the assignments are going to be posted. and you'll have a chance to download the assignments, complete them, and then re-upload them. We will have due dates. Typically, they'll be the first of the month, and they'll be scored and revised up until the 15th. And depending on the quality of work, you'll get a pass or you'll get a resubmit, and you'll have time to get those revised and re-uploaded for your region facilitator to go ahead and evaluate. At any time, there is always the contact information for all of the facilitators, as well as the coordinators. And so you'll be really familiar with this program. And once again, your MOU will be turned in, and then you will get information in creating an account. And so when we talk about Moodle, this is what you're going to go ahead and see. Now, because this came up at summer conference, a lot of folks had questions about the cost of this program. Now, when we talk about cost, we have to be a little bit cautious because every district operates a little bit differently when it comes to induction programs. Now, most districts typically will pay either their district or county for their credential candidates to participate in a program. Now, for our program, it is $2,000 per year, and this is paid for typically by the district, and this is very comparable to other programs. But instead of the money going to the county or the district, it's going to go to Sutter County and CATA. This pays for administrative costs of this program. It's not going towards mentor stipends. Now, some districts have first or second year credential candidates enroll in maybe in an online program, and once the credential candidate completes that, they're reimbursed. Some districts charge the credential candidate, and it's completely up to them. So this is just a guideline for what the program costs. KTIP is again $2,000 per year for the credential candidate. And again, if districts have questions about that, they can go ahead and contact one of us, and we can go ahead and clarify that. For the mentors, they don't pay anything. They do get a stipend, and it's typically whatever the district usually pays their mentors. And so that's again going to go through your district. And again, depending on the district, they do get a different stipend, but that is not what we pay. So again, if you have questions, please reach out for that. But again, we just put it in here because some folks had questions about it at summer conference. Now, I know this was a lot of information and you probably have questions, but we hope that you would like to participate. And so right now you might be wondering, what do I do next? And so essentially what's going to happen is your district is going to have to give you approval and allow you to participate. And the way that they do that is they need to fill out a memo of understanding. Now, the best place that I would go ahead and direct them to is, again, the California Ag Teachers Association website. And then under resources, you're going to see the induction program link. And on that link, there is a brochure that goes through the requirements, it goes through the benefits, the purpose of the program, and it also gives a list of districts that have already approved it and are allowing their credential candidates to participate. On that link, again, is the MOU, and they print it off and they sign it, and then they turn it in. When we talk about a timeline, there is one, of course, and the first thing you're going to go ahead and have to do is complete this credential candidate application. Do the best you can. Some of it has class information and you may not be aware of that yet, but just fill out as much as you can. The biggest thing is going to be in green right here. It says that on September 1st, all district MOUs are due in order to continue in the program. So really, as soon as you can, go ahead and talk to your HR or your administrators in asking them if they will allow you to participate in this program. There's also a complete an intake form and a candidate MOU, and those are also found on the website. So the sooner you can get those completed and turned in, the better. Once you get your MOUs turned in, and you'll get information about logging into Moodle, and you'll find the information about the bridging document, and we will pair you with a mentor, and then you'll complete your ILP. Once you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and attend your regional or sectional meetings where you'll have a chance to meet with your mentor and work through some of the evidence submissions. Of course, when we're getting through this induction program, we are asking that you complete all of your assignments by the due dates and at a competent level. When we're looking at evaluating your assignments, again, the CTC needs to approve your participation. And so we will evaluate, and then Sutter County will go ahead and look at the assignments and making sure that they meet the needs. And then CTC will actually be administering your clear credential. Of course, through this whole program, you'll be working with your mentor and your regional facilitators to make sure that your work is going to be approved to get your clear credential. If you have any questions, the regional facilitators are listed in front of you. Again, I'm Judy Ashwanden, so I'm with the North Coast. Mike Spees is Superior, Eric Dyer is Central, Mary Martineau is Southern, Lauren Peterson is South Coast, and Haliska Tomlinson is going to be for San Joaquin. And so again, they are going to be the person that is going to be your point person or your lead for all of your assignments. Well, this wraps up our video. Hopefully it gave you all of the information from identifying the parts of an induction program, what to do if you're interested in this program, and gave you some background about what some of the assignments are going to be if you're able to participate. Again, we'd like to welcome you to the profession. We're excited to have you, and thank you so much for your interest in our CATIP program. Let us know if you have any questions, and we hope we have the opportunity to work with you next year.